A select case statement is often used instead of an if statement. Let me show you. First of all, let's close chapter 5. So I'll just go File, Close, and save Yes. And what I'd like to do now is open a new workbook. So just File, New, and Create. I'd like to save this file, so I'm going to click the Save button on my Quick Access toolbar, and I'll save this file as Chapter 6. And make sure it's a macro-enabled workbook. What I'd then like to do in my Visual Basic Editor is insert a module. I'd then like to go View and bring up the Properties window and name that module Mod Days in a Month. And from my code file, I'm going to look for a sub-procedure called Sub Days in a Month and take a copy of that. Of course, you can type it if you wish and put it into my Visual Basic Editor and bring up Excel. The idea here is I've created a sub-procedure called Days in a Month, and I've declared 4 variables. My number of days as an integer, my date as a date, my month as an integer, and my year as an integer. My month as an integer, my month could probably be a byte, because the month is only a number between 1 to 12, which is within the 0 to 255 range that a byte handles. The same could be true, actually, of my number of days. That could be a byte as well. Alright, so we've got 4 variables here. And then using a simple input box, my date is equal to whatever they enter when they're asked to please enter a date in the day, month, year format. So they enter a date, that becomes my date. My month then uses a function called month to extract the month from my date, which will end up being a number between 1 and 12. The select case is used here to determine what to do with the month. Select the case My Month. If the case is My Month is a 1, January, a 3 for March, a 5 for May, a 7 for July, an 8 for August, a 10 for October, or a 12 to December, then the number of days is 31. If the case is the month is a 4, 6, 9, or 11, then the number of days in those months is 30. But if the case is My Month is 2, February, then I need to know what the year is. So my year uses the year function to extract the year from the date. And if the year is divisible by 4 and leaves no remainder, then it's an even year, and so the number of days will be 29 because it's a leap year. If it's not divisible by 4 and leaving no remainder, then it's actually not a leap year, so there'll be 28 days in February. So let's just try this. So if I press F8 and I step through this, first of all my date, let's go for say the 1st of the 2nd 2012, which I know is a leap year and is February. So I go OK to that. So my month at the moment hasn't been calculated, so it says 0, but as soon as I go F8 using the month function, my month is 2 because my date is the 1st of February 2012, pull out the month from that and you end up with the number 2. So it shouldn't fall into any of these cases, it'll fall into this case 2. So when I press F8 it bypasses that one and goes into here. What I now need to do is to grab the year. So when I go F8, the year, my date is the 1st of the 2nd 2012, so my year is 2012. Now when I divide 2012 by 4, there will be no remainder because it divides evenly. So when I press F8, the number of days is 29. In the if, in the select, and now my message box comes up. For the 1st of the 2nd 2012, there are 29 days. And OK. And F8. So the select case is very useful. If I was to use an if statement, let me show you how long it would take. Let me just rename this select case And let me just take a copy of this, put it below, and call this one if. So, select case my month. Here I would have to say if my month equals 1, or my month, let me just copy that, my month equals 3, or my month equals 5, or my month equals 7, or my month equals 8, or my month equals 10, or my month equals 12, then my number of days is 31. Else, and let's just put this in here, else if my month equals 4, or 6, or 9, or 11, then it's 30. Else, if my month equals 2, oops, else if my month, let me just fix that, else if my month equals 2, oh, then my year, another if, another else, another else, end of. Look how much more typing is involved when you actually use an if statement. And I'll just close both of these. And so that's why the select case is sometimes more popular, because it's trimmer. Alright, so you can use the select case or you can use an if statement. Either would work.